Well, it looks like 6 o'clock. We might as well get the work session started. Go through the minutes of the meeting dated March 9th. Are there any additions or corrections? Okay. Abstract audited vouchers? No issues with that. Listed correspondence, we have 4 pieces this evening. First is from the Town of Lancaster Building Department, providing report of the building permit applications, open complaints, inspections, and expired permits that were filed for properties within the village from February 18th, 2026 to March 11th, 2026. Any questions, comments? Second piece of correspondence is from Corey Damon, providing a special events application for a Bike to School Day event to be held on May 6, 2026 in the village. I think the chief may have had a comment on that.
Yes.
Correct.
Laura.
So,
Yeah, I was concerned.
We got the alternate route.
We're going to place it in a special events committee.
okay. Third piece of correspondence is from Arbor Day Foundation, congratulating the village of Lancaster for achieving 2025 Tree City USA status and receiving a growth award. We've received and we've planted hundreds of trees in the last few years throughout the village, and it's really nice because for years, a lot of times they got taken down and never replaced. Some people wanted them, some people didn't, but the majority of people like it, and naturally good for the village, good for the environment. It's a win-win. And fourth piece of correspondence is from Fire Chief Eric Feldman, requesting authorization to purchase 8 new pagers from Saya Motorola Solutions on a state contract in the amount of $3,670.40, with funds available in the budget line A3411.2604, and I'll make that a motion when the time comes. Other than that, there's no more listed correspondence. We have several resolutions this evening, and the first is to schedule an annual organizational meeting for the 2026-2027 official year in the council chambers on Monday, April 13th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Second resolution will be to schedule a public hearing in the council chambers on Monday, April 13th, 2026 at 7:15 p.m. to consider public comments and feedback regarding the proposed budget for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. Third is a resolution to approve the Arbor Day proclamation to designate Friday, April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the village of Lancaster. The fourth is a resolution to award a bid for a Pleasant Avenue sewer project for construction services to JMM Construction of Western New York in the amount of $270,317 as the lowest responsible bidder per the review and recommendation of Watts Architects and Engineers. That'll be for the sewer work we need on Pleasant Avenue. Number 5 is the resolution to authorize the advertisement for bids for the Lancaster Pocket Park project with the bid opening date on Wednesday, April 15th, 2026 at 11 a.m.
Mayor?
Yes.
I think we'll strike that resolution tonight. We're actually still waiting from one piece from our consultants on that. So it's not quite ready to go out to bid, so it'll probably be our next meeting.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for the note.
Yep.
So we'll,
I guess I'll make a motion to table it until our next meeting then,
Sure.
instead of approve. Okay?
yeah, that's
All right.
fine. Resolution number 6 is issuing a negative declaration pursuant to seeker for the adoption of the Lancaster, or Village of Lancaster and Village of Depew Comprehensive Master Plan. We've had several meetings of this throughout the last year with the committee, and I think it's ready to go. And there shouldn't be any issues with seeker at all. And 7 would be a resolution adopting the Village of Lancaster and Depew Comprehensive Master Plan. And number 8 was a resolution to accept and approve the following membership changes for the Lancaster Fire Department as approved at its department meeting on March 10th, 2026. John Robinson IV resigned from the Eagle Hose Company. John Robinson III changed in status from active to inactive life. And that's all we have for listed resolutions. All right, we will have audience participation. We have several people here, so I'll read this now, since we have a little time, but you'll be able to speak during this portion of the actual meeting. Please raise your hand to be recognized by the mayor or his or her designee. State your name and address for the record. Speak directly to the village board only, using the microphone provided. Speak once for 3 minutes or less, unless extended by the mayor or his or her designee. Any unruly activity, including yelling, name-calling, or requests for personal information will not be tolerated. The audience member misbehaving in such a manner may have his or her opportunity to speak summarily terminated. Public comment will only be held in the portion of the meeting as stated in the agenda. After that, we'll have committee reports, and we'll begin with finance and claims.
I have nothing.
I think, Mike, we can remove LoSAP from that, right? Yep. And also the engineering RFQ, because the process has been, well, it's not done, but I think it's beyond the RFQ process, right?
Okay. Do you want it left in there for coming to the agreement with?
I guess it makes sense to leave it in there for that. We'll just change the name.
Just change the
Yeah.
wording.
Yep.
Okay, is there anything else for finance and claims? Tell me that your list, Sandy, mine's buried in here somewhere. Dig it out. Let's hang on a second, they got her buried in here someplace, shuffling papers.
Public Works is next, if you want.
Right, Public Works, yes, they got it right here.
Oh, there you go.
Chairman Mickley, okay, I had it.
Thank you. Really not much of an update, but it's not necessarily a Public Works thing, but I mentioned during the work session for the budget how we've been contacted regarding the possibility of a new fire hydrant on Brunswick. It's across the street. On our side, on Brunswick, our side of the street is, the east side of the street is Village Lancaster, west side is Depew. There's a new proposed project for some townhomes behind Tops on the Depew side. The Erie County Water Authority had suggested that perhaps a new fire hydrant would be in order, but the fire hydrant would have been on our side. If it's on our side, we have to pay a rental fee every year for the hydrant. So I think we all kind of agree that there's no reason that we should pay it. And the water main, if anything, that would only be saving money for the developers, and I don't think it's worth it for us to do that. So I had given the answer unofficially of a no for that.
Okay.
Good line with that.
I agree.
That's all I have.
Okay, public safety, for myself, and thank you for Lieutenant Gunter and Captain Smith here. The village has been approached by the Lancaster Police Department. They are obtaining, I believe, 2 drones, one to be stationed tentatively on this building and be deployed from this building. I'm not sure where the other one would be. I believe it's in northern Lancaster.
It'd be on our station.
Right at the station. Okay, and with technology today, what it is, I personally think that it's a good thing for our whole area. And it's not really surveillance, I don't consider it that, but say, for example, a child was abducted from the Lancaster Town Pool, and they got a report, they could track that abductor, if they had that description, and while cars were trying to navigate the streets, this drone doesn't have to stop for anything, this drone doesn't have to yield the right of way, it just follows the suspect, and it would greatly be a tool to assist the police department. And Lieutenant Gunther, would you care to say any words on that tonight?
Sure. My name is Lieutenant Gunter with the Lancaster Police Department. I'm kind of heading up this project. So, as described, we would have 1 drone on this building and 1 on the police department building. There would be docking stations, which is what the village needs to pass the resolution for the installation of the docking station. These drones are reactive. They're not out doing surveillance. They are responding to a call that we receive for a call for service. Whether that be an accident, a fire, any type of, situation that we feel the drone would help us. One of the best ways that I can kind of relate it is all our police officers have body cameras. Right? Every call we go on is being recorded, video is being obtained. This is essentially the body camera in the sky. This drone will fly to the incident. When it is flying to the incident, the camera is facing the horizon and is not looking down on the citizens. Once it receives, it gets to the incident, it can be controlled by our dispatch or certain officers that are trained to zoom in or do whatever we need to do to use it to its ability. That video would then be kept for approximately 30 days where it would be expunged. unless it was involved in a crime or an incident where we would download it into our evidence.com, which is just like we do with our body cameras that we have on us. So it is no different than our body cameras. It is not tracking anything, it is not reporting any information. I think there's some misinformation out there that it's tracking license plates and reading license plates. It's not doing any of that. It's simply a video system that gives us a live view overhead. Not only is it useful for the police department, it's useful for all areas of the town, whether it's pre-flooding where we can send it out and see where some trees are down blocking floods. Fire departments are going to find this very useful to give them, their chiefs, a bird's eye view of a fire before they may even be in their car to get to the fire. Accidents, EMS, all the events the village has, it would be super useful to have that overhead surveillance, that bird's eye view all the time. Could be used storms, if we're looking at storm damage. If, could help having departments to see where they gotta get their plows to. There's multiple uses, and it's a total public safety tool, not just the police. It's just that one entity needs to control it, and the police would be the ones to control it. So it's kind of an overview of it. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, what type of precedent is there that prevents you guys from keeping that data and prevents you guys from having that available to you?
So it would
What
be
type
no
of case law?
It would be no different than our cameras. It would be no different than our body cameras, our flock cameras. That is, all that information is audited. So anytime a video is downloaded into evidence.com, if any officer views that, it's audited. So our administration would have the responsibility of holding the officers accountable, just like they would any other system that we currently have in place.
Does that apply to helicopters then as well?
And
So
well,
police helicopters, which is other aerial, right? That's what I'm looking at from like a legal perspective of being able to fly over, right? So this is only going in, I guess what's to prevent someone, it's not you, right? Like I'm not saying it's you. What's to prevent someone 2 people ahead of you from saying, let's flip it, let's have a look at the license plates. Let's have a look at this. Like, I believe you. I don't think that you're doing something wrong.
well, I'm not, so it can look at a license plate, okay?
Right.
So if I have a suspect vehicle, I want to zoom in and get that license plate. But I have to manually enter that license plate into the system or let dispatch know. Is it recording and tracking and identifying that license plate? The person operating the drone is, just like you would if you had your cell phone camera you zoomed in, right? Okay.
To touch off of what he's saying, Flock, the specific company, they are very well known for not having data practices that you call advertise. A lot of their cameras, I don't know if you're familiar with that, with Ross, but they have found that these cameras retain data well past their advertised periods, dating all the way back to having test footage inside the facilities on these cameras. Also, like the gentleman said, was the South person 2 feet above you, you're using these for such things. There have been several cases, especially in Texas, where a police chief was found to have documented his ex-wife 228 some odd times, followers using these types of systems, not specifically a drone, traffic cameras, but they're all part of the same national AI surveillance system.
Do you want to go, Sis?
Yeah, as a captain, I mean, we have to police ourselves. I mean, you have to put some trust in who we are and the job that we do.
I understand.
I mean, there's always going to be that what if. Again, you have to put trust in who we are and the job that we do. And then we're in the positions that we are because we are trustworthy.
This is not an attack.
No, and we're not taking
But-
it.
I'm not taking it personal. It's personal.
There is a slew of cases over this company's entire history of police misuse of these types of systems. There have been countless citizens who have been shot, killed because of misidentification. Robert Dillon, he was arrested because he was identified as having attempted to lure a 12-year-old child from a beach 300 miles from his house when they never visited. The recognition data said it was a 93% chance of it being active. It means it's a 7% chance of being wrong. In a country with 330 million people, you're going to destroy countless lives.
But this system isn't identifying anybody. This doesn't have facial recognition.
They all destroy.
This does not have facial recognition. I can promise you. It does not have facial recognition.
I I can tell you from what I understand about this company and what I understand about all their products, their products that say that they're only licensed for breeders have AI capabilities and that are uploaded to their systems. These flock cameras also do not have proper security by default. You are able to go into a protocol Shodan, which is that publicly available online, scan, type of flock, scan nationwide for any flock camera that has the port file. Click on the link and you have public access. This includes cameras that are placed inside parks with children inside. So you're giving a bird's eye view to literally anyone who understands how to use cameras.
So you understand this completely. The drone is a DJI drone. The system is run by Flock. So they are not Flock cameras. Flock is running the software. The drone is DJI drone. Okay? So you understand the difference on that.
I only did that. I only did that flying for about 5 years now. These systems upload automatically to the system, just like you said, that evidence.com does. These systems are not secure by default. Also, like Stone said, was to stop someone 2 people above you from misusing this type of equipment. This
And I
is,
guess the follow-up is I believe, is there a check? Is there a process in place? I didn't have a chance to read it. I just read what Councilman O'Brien, sort of the resolution itself. I didn't get to read the backup. Is there a process in place to protect the data and to protect people's privacy in that sense, right?
So there is an audit system.
Mhm.
So anything that is viewed by any member of the department, there's an audit. There is also going to be a website. So as you as a citizen, if you see the drone flying over your house and you want to know where it's going or what it's going, there is going to be a website with full transparency of the drone responded to a call for service at Walmart, but it left the village, so it had to fly over your house. Okay, so there will be full transparency on where that drone goes and the calls for service that it responded to.
Here's a lay question for you. This is to help, like, if I can, help the trustees prepare for a vote on something like this, which is like, do we need it?
And there's a slew of child abductions happening.
I just-
So I can
For Christ's
tell you,
sake, you guys do a good job.
it is technology, right? We're kind of foolish if we don't take advantage of technology where it can help law enforcement. And this is another tool. This is another tool available to law enforcement to help us better respond to crimes that are happening in our community.
So just today, my shift ended at 3:30, it's our shift change. We had a 67-year-old male with Alzheimer missing from the town of Lancaster. Okay. Currently, we have a portable drone. That drone does not get carried from, so I do not hand this off to Captain Smith and then he hands it off to the next guy because it's a very expensive piece of equipment. That drone is kept at the station. Okay. So right now, we have an elderly male missing with Alzheimer's. We have to send an officer during shift change back to the station to get the drone, to get to the location, to get it up in the air, unpackage it, unfold it, power it up, launch it, to look for this person with Alzheimer's. This drone we currently have is more efficient. It will be there within 90 seconds. So I ask you, if you have a loved one missing, would you call the police department and say, I want police service, but I don't want a drone to look for my grandfather?
My grandmother's actually dealing with dementia right now, so like, this hits up close to home, and I don't enjoy that being used as like that.
Well, this was a real-time thing that just happened today. It just happened today.
I appreciate that, I appreciate the real-world example, we talked about
It's a real-world
the
example.
officers that, you talk about what's to stop a couple of people above from doing, there's always use cases, there's always cases where certain things like that are gonna make sense. I don't think anybody, if my grandma was missing, and if someone could put a camera up in there and say, oh, there she is, that would be great, but it's in the same way that you talk about, there's always gonna be outliers, there's always gonna be situations where this stuff can be misused, and my concern is, I just would like to know more information, all I wanna know is more information, and I would like to know, there's a litany of things, right? Like, where's this data stored? How often? We talk about your data secure and audited, but there's all these cases. I don't necessarily trust these big tech companies. So I'm not saying I don't trust you guys. There's audit. Who is it audited by? But like one more piece here. I apologize. There's a lot of processes that I would like to talk about, and maybe it's a different conversation. But like one of them is how would data sharing with state and federal law enforcement work is any different than your current practices? Like, can they go to Flock to request that? Would that have to come through you? So like, that, I think what this boils down to is felt rush, and it feels like there needs to be more conversation. I think if everybody knew more information, we'd feel more comfortable, because I'm not saying that I worry about you guys. I love that the fire department is 5 seconds from my house. I feel blessed about that. My concern is this company. Does anybody trust Facebook, Instagram, any of these big tech companies to be responsible with our data? There's been $1 billion lawsuits that prove otherwise. So I would just like to have more information before something gets approved and voted on. I know it's only $2,000, it could be 5 cents for all I hear. I would just like more information. That's all.
As far as what we do with the information, we can control. Flock, we have no control over.
Sure,
Flock.
and
I don't have the
that's
answers.
fair.
I understand that, and I don't have the answers for that. I think a representative from Flock would be more appropriate for questions like that. We can answer questions with regards to the information that we have accessible to us.
I would hope that you guys would ask those questions too, as the people that are here to protest us. It's not just against crime and things like this. Is real stuff that I would hope these questions are being answered. I work in tech. There's implementation meetings and calls with vendors and go over questions. I would hope these things would be discussed before these guys are asked to approve $2,000 or $10,000.
Well, I mean, I had a conversation with Flock today,
Sure.
and as of right now, it would be the video footage for each flight is stored for 30 days.
With you guys.
Under the Flock software system. Then we, if it's a crime or something we want to keep for evidence, we would download it and we would keep it at evidence.com. Their video is expunged, right, every 30 days. So there's a transfer of the video from system to system. So now, you can do with that as you may.
And like I
It's
said,
no different than our Exxon cameras. We have to trust this $1 billion company.
And do you do the right question? Do you though?
We do.
We do, and I hope you do. If you've signed contracts, that's great. I will leave it at this, because I know there's a lot of other stuff to get to, and I'm sure other people have things to say.
So-
I think we just need to have more open discussions about this and talk about what you guys know, what questions you guys still may have, because it seems like if you don't have answers to that, that's great. You don't
Let
really
me,
have a
for
lot.
the all time, we have had DJI drones for 6 years now.
Sure, and if I knew that, I probably would have said something. So, listened to those for 4 years. I would have said something 6 years ago.
But that video is maintained by the police department, right? It's not any different.
So it is different. The city of Ithaca just avoided their Flock contract because they found Flock was sharing their data with unauthorized users. So, and you said yourself, you're not sure what Flock does with the data, what protections it has in place, and I think it's a concern. And that's been a concern with Flock all along, because they refuse to allow independent audits of their processes. So City of Ithaca, who had a contract, it's a city, I'm sure they had many cameras, voided that contract because Flock did the wrong thing. They allowed unauthorized access to that data. So even if it's a camera flying over, looking at the horizon, at some point it gets to the scene. And you said is recording video footage that goes to Flock's website that you can download if there's a crime or whatever. But for 30 days, it's there. So someone's worst moment of their life could be shared by some unauthorized user that Flock grants access to. That's my concern, because these are village residents in here, and I represent them. And I don't want their worst moments put online to be accessed by anybody with a key code or some curiosity in the right access.
Worst moment of their lives could also be prevented by this.
I don't think
The worst
anyone's
moment
saying
of their lives
otherwise.
could be prevented by this system, so.
You're putting hundreds and thousands.
You said it was reactive, not proactive. So that tells me it's already happened. It's reactive.
Not necessarily, it could be a hostage situation, it could be a person with a knife.
How many
You don't know.
hostage situations have we had in Lancaster?
All it takes is one, right? All it takes is one.
True.
But all it takes is one person having their data leaked,
If
too.
we're gonna have.
Right. But is that the same consequence as a death?
I don't know. It's not, it wasn't my situation.
Yes, it can.
We're not trusting anybody's
How
identity.
many people are committing suicide because they've had their entire lives exposed to the internet or even with you? There are.
Or you're making assumptions when we have a known crime going on?
So I have a,
We know that Flock is irresponsible with our data.
Yeah, you're making an assumption that Flock is going to protect your data, when history proves that it's not.
Is there other companies?
That was my, is there anybody else but Flock?
Talk about Flock, is there any other companies?
Yes, we explored several companies, and this was the best option that we
Why
found.
best how?
How you approach.
Doesn't sound like the best how.
The overall system we felt worked the best.
I thought you guys were approached.
Pardon?
I thought they approached you guys.
Absolutely not.
That was the
That's-
conversation with
that's how it
Roger,
started.
was that.
You were approached by Flock.
No, we looked at another company prior to Flock, and then we explored Flock, because we do have Flock already in place.
So my question is just that we've had a lot of talk about it being like a reactive system, but then you did also mention surveillance of village events. So I guess my question is like, where's the line between proactive and surveillance? If we're
It's-
surveilling village events?
It's gonna be how the police department feels it appropriate. If we have a village event, and it can help us have bird's eye view in case something happens at that moment, it's beneficial.
There's been occurrences, 4th of July, where we have thousands of people down there and a child goes missing. It's very difficult for police on the ground to find that child when you're dealing with crowds and trying to walk through the crowd. If you had a drone up, you have better angle, you're better able to
But
identify.
you're making an assumption that these cameras don't have AI capabilities, so you're making an assumption that your officers will be able to, from a bird's eye view, be able to pick out a small child.
Well, if you have a closed-in description, that's a much better vantage point than walking through a crowd where you can't see a small child.
But your current drone that you have isn't capable of that? I think if we're having a major event, you'd want to have that on hand and set it back at the
Sure it is.
station.
Sure it is.
Okay, but that's not being uploaded to unsecure servers.
It doesn't have the flight time, doesn't have the ability to fly in the same weather this one does. Rain, winds, it's not as powerful of a drone, I would say, as far as its motors and where it can fly and can't fly.
As a town taxpayer, how much does this drone, would the Flock drone cost?
I don't have, you know, the
We
numbers.
should probably have that information in the department.
Each drone is, including all the equipment, docking station, all that software, the programming, is $50,000.
Wait,
How many?
What's the average salary of an officer? 'Cause I would rather have an extra officer on the streets instead of flying around the sky.
So also, do you have the numbers on what we're paying Flock to maintain this data? Because it's not just we bought 2 drones, cool. We're paying Flock consistently for as long as we have a contract with them.
That price includes everything.
If it includes every single year of their services that are being provided.
there must be a SaaS on there, right? There's gotta be some data storage that they charge you for, right?
Exactly.
I work in software side, I mean, there's never, nothing's free. That's based in the cloud, has to be charged, I would think.
Or they're selling the data that they're getting, and that's, because if you're not paying for a service, you are the service. So,
I think, and I'm so sorry, I don't even put you guys out. I just feel like this needs to be flushed out better
Yeah.
before we make the move. And I don't think it's a bad, I understand the benefit, but it just feels like, hey, if there's a lockstep process, like, I would much rather trust you guys with a private drone than trust some large data company.
Well, it's
that
not a
might
private
say-
drone because it's owned by DJI, and DJI has access to.
Well, then I have a problem with that as well.
Well, you have a personal DJI drone.
Correct.
You don't believe that they can access that?
No, because it's in, internal.
So from the resolution, what we are looking to do is a 3 to possibly 6 month trial period. That is zero cost besides the installation of the electric and the Ethernet line to the roof. All right, is a trial period. That is what we're looking to do right now. Once that trial period is over, then it'll move forward whether the town and the village are to continue with the yearly contract for Flock with the drones. Okay, so right now it is looking at a temporary trial period to see if this is even.
I came in late,
feasible.
I don't even interrupt you, officer. I came in late, but my understanding was this was added this morning to the agenda. And I was on the Board of Education in this year, we just don't do that. Right? We just don't add something last minute to the agenda, then ask the board or trustees to vote on it. So why can't there be more discussion? More of a notice, a hearing, or something. That's all. I see people have concerns, and we want to be safe. I want you to keep us safe. That's tax dollars well spent. But my daughter, who lives in Florida, got notice of this from somebody that she knows, all right? And I'm here now, rushing through dinner, gonna come here to try to understand what's happening. But are you supposed to put things on the agenda ahead of time for review, rather than just drop it?
This is what Flock teaches them to do, is to rush.
Well, no, that's happened before, like I said, I was on the board, I mean, I understand how things were, sometimes things happen, but when that happened, and if there was concerns from trustees or whatever, it was tabled. This is not an emergency, I don't see this as being an emergent
Trustee O'Brien.
situation. So I
Yes.
think it should be tabled and then further discussed, and then you do what you do.
Unless the whole resolution was not posted, when you posted it today, it doesn't say anything about a trial period on the resolution itself.
It was not included in there. No, I didn't find that out until much later during the day.
We would need to add that procedurally to verify that as well. Thank you.
So if I may say something, there's no plan to vote tonight.
Well, the email did request that we vote to approve it tonight.
Yes.
So there's confusion, so nobody
There's
seems
no-
to know a lot. We
It's-
just want more information. I want to be safe, you guys want to keep us safe. and-
I think that's a great idea not to vote.
The- the- Will there be a vote tonight?
No.
No, there's not going to be a vote tonight. I mean, everything you're saying is heard. There was never, and sometimes we do have, and you know this, sometimes we do have last-minute resolutions that come through called unlisted resolutions. This happened to have come that way. So there was not a last-minute trying to squeeze this in. And if there's no reason to vote on tonight, it won't be voted on. Having said that, it's a good time to keep listening.
Actually, we appreciate you coming here and voicing your opinions. Definitely. I've worked with, yes,
Can I
Cricket.
just say that I think, listening to everyone, that it would be really good to maybe get an article out on it and have Flock come in and have a nice public, meeting on it before it comes up again on the board.
We can certainly do that.
That would be great.
Their representative would,
Publicize so the public, people know about it.
certainly.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, again, when this, I was notified Thursday that this was progressing rather quickly. Our obligation, if this happens, is to provide power and Ethernet cables. And if this passed, then we would have had that done during this week. And clearly hearing the residents' participation, and I'm glad that you came to the board meeting. That's your right as a citizen, and a lot of times it's an obligation. But I also see this as technology. Technology changes all the time, and I've sat on this board on and off for over 20 years, and I've watched a whole lot of different things happen, and I don't think that the police department would ask for something that would cause an invasion of privacy. They're looking for their tools that can protect you better than they can without them, and we have that today. The Flock cameras. A lot of people were against that, and the Flock cameras aren't monitors. Nobody sits there and watches them all the time, but if something happens, we have a better chance of prosecuting and getting a conviction. And I think our justice there could verify that. When more evidence that you have, in trying to prosecute a crime, the better off it is. I don't think that there's ever any intent on infringing on anyone's privacy, although I can't say that that would never happen. So listening to your concerns, the work session, potentially the next board meeting, and voice concerns. Anybody has ideas, anything, the officers, thank you for your comments. Again, on the idea under, I was more than willing to question the proper tool to the job and to keep our residents safe. And public safety is the #1 priority of this village board.
Lieutenant or Captain, would you be able to arrange something to have someone from Flock?
Yeah, well,
Meeting, that's our,
Organization.
that's organizational meeting that day,
Yeah.
so I don't know if we
There's
want to
a
do
lot
it
going on
maybe do it
that
the
day.
next one, yeah.
Yeah, we might want to do the next one. I realize it'll delay the project, but
yeah,
I
the
think we
second
need.
one in April, anyway, have the date.
April 13th,
Didn't we have someone here
April
a year
27th.
or so ago?
isn't it right here? Next regular meeting, April 13th? Oh,
Yeah, 20.
This was probably not the most enjoyable part of your day.
Oh, no.
But I thank you for coming to this point of.
I have one more related question.
Obviously, we want to
And
work
that's
with
why,
you.
that's all we're
why
asking, honestly, that's all we're asking for.
Honestly, guys, I work with these guys, I'm in the highway department, and, I trust my police force with my life. They're fantastic. Chief Gummel is remarkable. And, you know, I understand everybody's concerns, I get it, it's a great idea to have more discussion about it, but this is a tool that will help not only them, it'll help everybody. It'll help my job, it'll help the village DPW, it'll help the fire department, so I hope that everybody can figure out a way to make this work, because I think it's, you know, listen to the mayor, I mean, it's, he well said, just,
What I heard, John, is we all trust the police department and trust you immensely, and everybody gets slack.
I know, I get it, so I'm hoping that.
So we just need more information.
Yeah.
We just need more.
And to be very frank, the whole, legally, the whole landscape is very raw right now. And there's just a lot of unsettled parts of it, and that's why I asked the question, do we need it? I know it'll help, I don't, it's logic, right, that makes sense. That was, and it wasn't to poke holes at you guys, it was to say, hey, do we want to table this for 3 months, for 6 months, or something like that, to let some of these other rulings settle, and some of these privacy cases settle, and things like that, where you do have companies like Flock who could be exposed in that amount, not the Ithacas of the world, speaking of, right? Just to, hey, if we don't need it immediately, like maybe we take a look at how things settle in, because it is a new technology, and because we don't know how to protect it yet, especially in the court system, they don't know how to protect it yet. So why don't we let that figure itself out for a few days?
If I may say one more thing too, the only we as the village are deciding is whether or not to allow them to put the drone on our roof. The decision to use Flock doesn't stand with this board, it all stands with the police department.
But we can enable it or not.
Right, and if we don't, true. And so that's the only question right here, is it, does it go on this roof? Or maybe it goes somewhere else? There are already Flock cameras throughout the town and the village.
So I had a question. I think Lieutenant mentioned there was a website coming that would show access, like when camera access. Is it just drone, or is that the cameras that exist as well?
It's just the drones.
Because I know last year when the question about putting the live stream cameras came before the board, I referenced Cheektowaga because they actually have a website available created by Flock that lets you download a spreadsheet that shows when each of their cameras is accessed, and the dispatch officer accesses them. Their names are coded out. You can't tell their names, but they have to put in a reason as to why they were accessed. And when I asked if the Lancaster Police had that same website, I was told no. And I asked about getting one and didn't really get a response. So it seems the capability is there. I would like we move forward with the drones.
I can't speak on that, that's.
Okay, that's all I have for public safety. Building lights and codes, Chairman Mickley?
Everything seems like a letdown now. Matt, I was going to ask you, I meant to ask you, Matt, if there's any update, did you ever hear anything back on 81 4th Avenue? We have an unsafe condition property. It's been a while.
We're currently monitoring the building.
Okay.
It's boarded, it's somewhat maintained with the exterior property maintenance. Moving forward, as the spring begins to roll out, we can open up some more discussion.
Do we know if the bank started foreclosure? Because that was,
I've not received any information.
okay, all right. And then the only other thing I have for building lights and codes is I mentioned it a few weeks ago. I've been talking with HPC about the possibility of putting up new street signs. Of course, it would be subject to this board's approval. We're just discussing now the types of signs, whether it's be new signs or toppers on the current signs, something to distinguish the historic district from the rest of the village. I think would be kind of neat. And that's all I have.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, can we take the parking lot bumpers out of here?
That's good you brought that up. I meant to say that as well.
Yeah, and the owner was very appreciative that got done. He was very glad that it finally materialized. Sometimes people...
Also, so tonight we have, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we do have a public hearing tonight for the new signage code. This has been in the works for quite a while, and there's kind of a long story behind it. The reason that what really prompted this was the fact that when in 2023, this board had adopted new zoning including for the downtown district. Somehow or another didn't include new signage code for that. So we've been without that for a few years, and we're correcting that tonight, amongst other things. So that's all I have.
Okay, Human Resources, Chairman Lewin Schaefer.
I have nothing to report this evening.
Community Events.
Community events I'd like to place the application for the ride to school. I'd like to place that in a special events committee. Other than that, I have nothing else.
Okay. Economic Development, I guess this would come under Economic Development, but I've been working with the village, or the area Chamber of Commerce, and they've been in contact with Ellicott Development, and the village has the opportunity, we're waiting for a proposal from Ellicott to lease that parking space around the Rite Aid building for $1 a year. And we would also patch holes in the lot and provide snow removal. It would add a little over 40 spaces, I believe. And I think for $1, I think it's something the board would want to consider doing. Obviously, parking is a tremendous premium here. It has been, is, and always will be. And this would at least provide those additional spots. Apparently, Ellicott did not want to plow that lot this year, just to try to keep people out of it. They could completely barricade it off if they wanted to. And that poses fire risks, in case they had to get into the building, but they could be nasty about it. I think this is a good deal for the village, and I think we should approve it. I do not have that contract yet, though. We cannot do that tonight.
Yeah, we talked to Wayne about it, and he said that, because I was worried about how much it would cost to patch the lot. Like, are we investing a ton of village money into a private lot? He said probably like $400 to get it patched up. So I think that's definitely, worth it.
Zans,
Yeah, it's like
by the means.
if he's like, oh, we have to put $10,000 into that lot in order to bring it up, no, not that.
And I'm sure it will be short-term, month-to-month, until they find someone.
Right.
Right.
So if they don't,
That building's probably going to sit for years. You're probably looking at $2 million for that building, although it could be sold the next day. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
But historically, there's an awful lot of Rite Aid buildings sitting empty, so I just think it would be a good deal for the village.
Yeah.
Sewer, Chairman Mikely.
Sewer tonight will be approving the Pleasant Avenue project. There were 5 bids, I think, and want to thank Watts for coordinating that whole process. The construction will start right after the 4th of July, because this is part of Pleasant Avenue that the parade goes down, so the schedule would be to start, I'm not sure if it's mid-July, but work time would be about 30 to 40 days. That's all I have.
Okay. Grants, Chairman O'Brien.
Real quick, the Plum Bottom Creek Culvert Project is still ongoing. We had a meeting last week just to gauge the status of it. It's still anticipated to be completed in early April. Some residents have reached out about the noise of the generator, and I get it, it's rough, but they have to keep pumping it all night long, or else it'll refill in. It'll take them all day to pump the water back out. There were some delays with the project due to the rainfall, and then they had some equipment issues. They lost a few hours because of that, but they're moving right along and getting it finished. And related to that, we did receive word from New York State DOT that the village will be awarded a $2 million FHWA grant from the federal government to do phase 2 of that project. So the culvert's a long culvert. It's about 60 years old or so. It needs a lot of work, right? So what we've been doing this last few months is phase 1 of essentially a 2-part project. That money is still, the federal process for grants is very time consuming. It's still years out, so there will be some reprieve from the noise of the pumps, but down the road a little bit, we'll be going back in there again to finish up the project. We asked the construction team what they thought about going in from the other side, maybe be a little bit less disruptive. Problem is the banks are so steep over there, it would be literally dangerous for them to try to access it in and out. It's just so much safer and easier to use the parking lot at Clark Street as a staging area. So I did request that we look at electric or quieter generators, like electric pumps maybe, that won't be making so much noise and keep residents up all night.
So do you know when was this how far away?
Probably at least 2 years.
Okay. Because we put off Clark Street.
I know. I think we talked about it. You were at the budget. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. I think we'll probably we're going to do that first. It's just going to have to be one of those things. It's got to get done. Yeah. So the parking lot won't be able to wait for that. We'll just have to do some repairs probably after they're out. But that's progressing, and good news from DOT that will be finished, because that was one of the things on my bucket list to find money for, was to finish that project. So much appreciated. Letters went out to homeowners for the USDA and DEC tree planting grants. Spring tree plantings will begin at the end of next month, and appreciate all of the residents who provided feedback on that. If you live in the impacted areas, hopefully you'll see a new tree or two in front of your house in a little bit. Tonight we'll be approving our comp plan, so Mike, I think we can take that out of my committee now, the grant. We did receive a grant agreement for the small project fund for 25th Central Avenue to get that project moving forward. We didn't get it till the end of the week though, so we'll put that off until next month to approve that resolution. There's not really any rush on it. We were kind of waiting to hear back from them, and they took a little bit too long, which is okay. John, the planning grant for Mini Systems 2, 3, and 6 investigations, we got the responses to that. I don't know if you wanted to meet up at some point and maybe game plan next steps on that?
Next.
Yeah, okay.
For sure.
Okay, so we'll schedule that, and we'll figure out, we can talk about who should be there or not.
Yep.
All right, and then finally, under submitted applications, last week, I reached out to the board and received an okay to submit an application to the Lowe's Community Impact Grant. These impact grants are meant to award municipalities and not-for-profits for their bucket list items. They look all over the country and spend money on just good community projects. So I submitted the terrace project. I've been working on with Bill Shutt, our village engineer, on a project to kind of reshape the terrace that goes down into Cave Creek Park from West Main Street to make it a more usable space to actually stay instead of like rush through. To open it up, to get rid of like the weird like angled stairs that are unsafe, and actually put platformed areas with tables and shade, so you can come out there, you can get a beverage from Fatty and walk over and look over the park while you drink instead of on the picnic tables. So I submitted that grant. It's probably months away before we hear anything back, but hopefully we get that. That's it for grants.
Okay, anything for Chairman O'Brien? Tech and Marketing, Chairman Miller?
Nothing to report today.
Okay, and Climate Smart, Chairman O'Brien.
Yeah, just one thing for Climate Smart. Amy attended a NEST meeting on 3/19. She advised that there is actually a free paint collection event at Buff State on 4/18. Information on how to register for that event to drop off your unused paint. You can find that information on the village website. It includes a registration link as well as a list of what they do and don't allow for drop off. So I know it always seems like, you're cleaning your garage and you find these buckets of paint you don't know what to deal with. Well, go to the village website and you can find out if you can turn it over at Buff State. That's it.
Okay. And I think that's it for all our committees. And department head reports, we'll be going with the clerk treasurer.
Thank you. The only thing, as you noted, we'll be scheduling the public hearing for the budget for April 13th during that board meeting. So the tentative budget's been filed in my office. I provided everyone with a copy. If anyone needs a hard copy, let me know. I'll make sure it gets on the website this week so it's available for the public before the public hearing. We will need another work session to take a look at salaries and any other like general review before finalizing the budget, sharpening our pencils, so to speak. I don't know if possibly the week of April 6th, either Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday, there's a historic meeting. It would have to be early at like 4 p.m. or Thursday, possibly the 9th. Anytime.
I'm away that week.
You're away that whole week?
The week of the-
We could look at the following week
Sure.
then. The budget has to be adopted by the end of April, so even the following week. I'm looking next week to take some vacation time during the week, so I'd be back the week of the 6th. But it could be any time in April, just to have that meeting before finalizing the budget.
We want to do April 9th, maybe? Does that work?
Well, I think John said
That's
he's
the week
away
of-
that week.
Oh, that's the week you're away. Sorry. Yeah.
And possibly the following Wednesday, the 15th.
Yeah, I could do that.
That's fine.
My taxes should be done by then.
Yeah, tax day, right? So that would just need to be scheduled if you wanted to schedule
Sure.
that during the meeting
Yeah.
tonight.
That's fine. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Fire chief.
First, I want to apologize for not being here for the budget meeting due to JetBlue holding me hostage in Florida for an extra 3 days. Other than that, I was going to report on a couple of the things that we got coming up here that I bring up during the meeting. It's minor things about LoSAP. I want to thank everyone. For one, the village residents for coming out and voting to support us on that, and then the village board for all the hard work over the years as well. get that to move forward. And then we had some award winners from the Erie County Joint Chiefs and Fire Police Association banquet this past weekend that I'm going to report on. But other than that, nothing major right now.
Oh, thank you. Code enforcement, Matt?
I have nothing specific to report to this.
Captain Smith, anything?
I'm good, nothing more, thank you.
Okay, Attorney Herzig?
Nothing this evening, sir.
Okay, do we miss anybody? I don't think so.
HPC's good. HPC's all right. We just really, trustee Mike Lee mentioned what I was gonna say was about the street signs. We're in the process of getting that work. You buried my lead a little bit, but I forgive you, it's okay.
Say what?
You buried the lead a little bit, that was my whole thing. And
You stole his thunder.
appreciate it though.
Okay.
Okay. At 7:15, we have a local law for zonage signing regulations. We'll have a hearing on that. And on that, a few minutes.
Turn off the live stream for 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Art, you're hiding back